Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Hey guys, Bam here from Multiversus University, and today we're going to go over Season 2 mid-season patch of Multiversus and the changes to movement. Yes, you heard that right. We actually got some movement buffs finally in the game, and I'm so excited to talk about it with you all, right? So for starters, we're going to go through dodge landing and why that's something that is absolutely essential to integrate into your overall gameplay. And then we're going to talk about a new tech that I was able to find out, within 2 minutes of playing this new patch, and that's called the platform boost sliding. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys how to do it, and then also I'm gonna talk to you guys exactly about some applications I was able to find out. Afterwards, you guys are on your own. Just feel free to tag me and let me know, because I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. Finally, we're gonna go into a conclusion. I'm gonna give my overall impressions on what I've seen from the movement side when it comes to this patch, and then I'm really gonna dive into what I think is completely and absolutely vital to see in terms of movement to take Multiversus to the game it really can be. All right, so got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. Dodge landing has been a staple of Multiversus since the alpha, yet this is the first time since release we've actually seen noticeable changes made to the movement. It is now easier to perform, far better on platforms, and with the early cancel window, easier to integrate into your overall movement. This is an absolute must if you're looking to get to the top level. Now let's talk about applications. Best thing about dodge landing is the ability to branch into a jump that maintains the momentum of the dodge land, similar to a boost jump, or going into a direct dodge, and both of those costing only 1 bar. In particular, when doing a dodge land jump, even attacking will cost no meter. Platform boost sliding is a new tech resulting from the new changes to wave landing. It is done by doing a diagonal down dodge while on a platform and will launch the character off the platform while in a neutral stance. This allows you to cancel into any airborne action while having more momentum than a traditional wave land off a platform. Mastering platform boost sliding, or PBS for short, is going to increase your mobility on platforms by tenfold. I'm truly excited to see what players do with this and how they integrate this into their offense and defensive play. Lastly, I wanted to showcase some applications I've already done in tech. Starting off with the void tech, aka down dodge jump. Can be utilized as an alternative for ledge dashing if you are unfamiliar with the spacing. Using things like dodge land jump to bolster your overall movement with the drift backs actually create a lot better offense and pretty much allow you to boost jump for the fraction of the cost. Alright, so this section I'm going to be talking about a few things, my general thoughts on Multiversus movement as of now with this patch. If you guys are looking for full patch breakdown impressions, that will be in a later video. This one I'm going to specifically focus on movement because I'm a really big fan of movement. Then I'm going to talk about some things that I feel that could be done in the future and put the game, on the right course for making a phenomenal, super fun game, engaging, and also something that can be easy to learn, hard to master, right? As it's very clear based on how things are moved that the dev team is really transfixed on how the ease of use, all right, for a lot of things in the game. So let's get into it. I think dodge landing stuff, all the changes that have occurred to that are great. It's phenomenal. It makes platforms a lot better. It allows some more kind of fun, unique movement. And it's really cool because dodge landing in particular essentially gives you a dodge that has no iframes. So for it being, being something that you can use that has no iframes and it's just straight movement, I think is a really good thing for the game. And I think that should be really leaned into because those kind of dodges allow people to move back and forth, and it's not something that's going to be so overbearing because I can't hit anyone because they're intangible, right? So very good. I think that's just amazing. It's a really, really good decision, and I hope that continues forward there. Now, where do we go from here? Let's talk about ease of use and other movement tech. I'm just going to say it outright. Big one that's always brought up is wave dashing, right? And I think that you can have a movement similar to wave dashing or put wave dashing in the game and it would be phenomenal. I also want to say that when we talk about wave dashing has been in other games, been in traditional fighters before even platform fighters, and has been popularized because of melee, but it's something that exists in a lot of fighting games, right? A lot of fighting games, and pretty much every platform fighter has something that's similar to this tech, and I want to make that very clear. The other big thing about it is a lot of times people seem to have a fear of the idea of wave dashing because they're worried about having something that's too complicated for casuals. So let's dispel that myth right now, because that myth is actually really ridiculous, and I can't stand that it is something that has held some like that's behind, because they're so worried and afraid of something that can be too hard for casuals, right? So if you're talking about melee, guess what? Everything's hard in melee. Melee is not a good metric for why things are too hard. I'm telling you that right now, because melee, even doing I want you to do a instant full hop aerial or instant short hop aerial, or even try to I'm just trying to go for just shine jump into something, right? And fast fall. That stuff is just hard, period, in melee, because there's just pretty much a lack of buffer system. And it's a lot of those things are, when you first start, are very, very clunky until you are able to perform it, right? If you look at any modern fighting game, if you look at versus fighting games, if you look at any modern platform fighter, you will quickly find that the movement and the inputs for wave landing has been made exponentially easier. This argument is the equivalent of someone saying a fireball is too hard to do, so I don't want to have fireballs at all in the game, simply because they're talking about doing a fireball on Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 1. By the way, those games do not have any kind of grace, period. They don't have, they usually games have shortcuts nowadays, so you can do this slight thing, and if it's similar to that input, and it doesn't have to be the absolutely identical input, you will still get the special, right? You'll still get the fireball, right? And the funny thing about it is wave dashing in modern platform fighters is pretty much the same exact input as boost jumping, except it is the opposite. Instead of you doing a dodge into a jump, forward, left, and right, wherever direction you want to go, you instead do a jump into a dodge, left and right, wherever you want to go, and it just works, right? That is the new age of wave dashing, and it works really, really well. Okay, and it's easy, and again, it is the same input. So unless we think that boost jumping is too hard for people to do in Multiversus, then I think that there's something there that makes sense, right? So I think that's a really big one. I really hope that that is heard by any of the dev team. If that is a reason for worry for wave dashing or any kind of similar movement, tell you right now, there's easy ways to do it. It's already been solved long ago, before this game was even made. Please don't look at melee for those answers. You don't need to make melee. In fact, I think it is a blessing for people to see how modern platform fighters have solved other things in better ways than Melee could, in terms of something being more simplified and ease of use while still retaining a fun and like crisp movement. Okay. Next thing, character specific movement, right? So I think character specific movement is really cool. You see Black Adam is one of the few characters that has like he has a command dash and a command jump. He has flight, right? So really insane. I think those kind of mobility options are really fun. They give a lot of character expression. People are usually excited when they have moves like that also have mobility to them. And I think there should be more stuff like that integrated, and they should be intentionally made to be like movement tools, right? Like they can be attacks, but also fun movement tools. Perfect example. You have Batman. Batman has his glide. Batman's glide in beta, extremely fun move, right? And the way that it was really fun is that the horizontal momentum on it was pretty crazy, but you would actually fall faster as well. So like utilizing it was like a really good movement tool, right, in the air. And I think that is more fun and honestly less toxic than some of the stuff you can see from Glide right now, right? Like those, leaning into those tools until characters have those kind of mobilities, like tools and options. And that's something that's not an active hitbox, obviously, so that's not going to be as overbearing as, say, the dive kick, right, which is clearly being targeted because it is so centralizing, right, in terms of gameplay. Another thing too, and I know I know on Twitter there's a guy always talking about bring back Sarah 2, definitely wilding on a lot of people's Twitter feeds quite often, but I will say that one of the more enjoyable things for even me playing Batman was the way that Sarah 2 functioned, that you could activate Sarah 2 even though you did not hit with Sarah 1. Why is that cool? Because it was a really cool movement option. Like Sarah 2, you're really not going to hit all too often. It was pretty hard to get Sarah 1 into Sarah 2 even, especially now. But the cool thing for me was that if you did Sarah 1, you can do Sarah 2 and you can have him drift up or down, and it was like a cool sliding movement option, right? And you can like reposition yourself. You can do like a Sarah 1 and then do Sarah 2 the other way, and you essentially do this cool like air dash backwards, so you are now in a better position, right, if you just hit someone off stage. I think those kind of things are really fun. They're engaging, they're really cool tools, and it just makes for a more like fast-paced game, more approach options, right, more kind of mix-ups and stuff. So I think that's dope. Another character, Superman, easy. I think his side special, right, and being able to fly, I think that move is cool. I think that move being faster, while of course you would have to essentially, like, you would have to nerf the strength of the move in terms of him being this active grab box, right? It'd probably have to be a smaller grab box, right, if you ever made that move faster. But like that being a mobility tool is cool, right? Just figuring out how to make things in a way where characters can have cool, unique movement. I think Rivals 2 does that really good, really well. Sorry, and you know, it even like in 2XKL, this kind of the movement that you'll see happen from Echo and stuff like that. Like that stuff's fun, man. Like character movement, like when character expression is such a important thing, and I think that Multiversus has a lot of great toolkits in that side. So I think in that side for expression is really cool. I think it's like having more moves have more utility, and then it's like character movement, and then also global movement, and like you put all those things together, and now you have a lot of tools where people can have fun and really just express themselves, and that's so important in a fighting game, no matter what it is, right? So good things to think about. I think last thing here, it would be general movement. I think that the general movement for characters could be really great. I think the general movement right now in terms of like going back and forth, the fact that you can go back and forth on a dime is really, really cool. I've heard a lot of people say that's what they really love about the movement and ground movement in terms of Multiversus. I think making that thing just faster, right? Just making there more acceleration, probably higher the top speed, right? When you go back and forth. And so now you get some better, really cool movement there. You know, that, and this kind of ties into character specific movement as well, but feint. I think if there's ways to have moves that can be canceled, you know, it should be moves that probably don't have armor, but having moves that can be canceled, and it could even be that when you cancel those particular types of moves, it's 2 bars to cancel or whatever it may be, right? So it's not insanely strong. Or even maybe the dodge, right, from those, the dodge cancel from those particular moves has no iframes, right? So it's like a movement option, but if you use it, you don't have, like, you can get hit, right? I think things like that would be really cool. And I think the feint stuff that there was in beta, again, beta had a lot of good ideas. I think they just needed to be refined, and they were really cool, and they were really unique, and they were distinct in the platform fighting space. And so I'd love to see a lot of those things really kind of looked back at and see like how can you take that Multiversus DNA of those things and really just refine it in a way that is not absolutely insane how it was in beta, but also still like that fun and that charm and that uniqueness. I think that'd be a great thing to see. But anyways, yeah, I'm pretty much done with my rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had fun making it. I'm really excited to see what people do with movement in this game. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.